You've probably poured hundreds of hours into creating the perfect farm, making friends with quirky animal neighbours, and building a life that feels completely free from pressure. Titles like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing have become massive cultural hits, promising an escape into a simpler, more rewarding life. But what if I told you that the whole time you thought you were in control, you were actually the one being cultivated? What if the feeling of cozy and comfort wasn't some happy accident but a brilliantly engineered product, designed and sold to you by a marketing machine that has mastered the art of monetizing your anxiety? Well, today we're thinking about the ugly truth behind cozy games. Here's the first ugly truth. Cozy isn't really a genre. It's a marketing buzzword. Think about it. What does a farming sim, a game about unpacking boxes, a gacha fashion game, and a visual novel actually have in common? Mechanically, not very much, but they can all be sold under the same cozy banner. The term cozy game is intentionally vague. It describes a feeling, not a set of gameplay mechanics, and feelings sell. Marketers get that. In a world of non-stop stress and burnout, coziness is a hot commodity, especially in this increasingly uncertain world. This has kicked off a gold rush. The market is now flooded with games that are cozy in name only, using the tag just to get noticed. The label has become so watered down it's starting to lose its meaning, turning from a genuine description into a hollow sales tactic. Take the game Infinity Nikki as an example, which exploded into a huge phenomenon in the cozy gaming scene, uniquely bringing a gacha system into a genre that typically doesn't see them very much. From the trailers, it's all soft lighting, pastel colours, and an adorable protagonist with big eyes and cute little outfits. The marketing leans hard into the cozy aesthetic, but it currently has mostly negative reviews on Steam. Why, you ask? Well, Infinity Nikki has had a lot of difficulties, especially recently. A recent update on the 28th of April introduced patch 1.5 titled Bubble Season. Complaints from players with this update include an increase in game-breaking bugs and crashes, an abrupt redesign of Nikki's lore and cutscene overhaul, and a more aggressive gacha system that raises pity costs and increases FOMO, or fear of missing out. There's also been a general escalation in the monetization in the game. So for instance, 5-star outfits now require 11 pieces each, bumping the pull guarantee from 180 pulls to 220, which is a lot, especially if you're paying for the pulls on that banner. And the new custom colour palettes were put behind a paywall with an extra currency, which could only be acquired from a monthly shop. Each palette must be rebought for every single outfit that a player owns, so functionally it means that even if you saved for a year, you wouldn't even be able to unlock every colour palette for just one outfit. There was also expensive cosmetic bundles introduced that caused a lot of problems for Infinity Nikki. New decorations were added as functionally useless cosmetics that can't be equipped to Nikki as outfit pieces. For instance, there was a bathtub cosmetic released, but the bathtub itself wasn't particularly the cause for concern, it was the price tag attached. The bathtub was priced at $70, with a 79% off price tag stamped on. Now, $70 is a huge amount for a bathtub, but one of the most concerning things was the implication that you're getting a good deal, which is hugely misleading for customers, as it urges you to buy something that you think you're getting money off, but actually aren't really. And nobody was really falling for this. After patch 1.5, Infold issued an apology and rolled back some changes, but many of the core complaints were unaddressed, especially around monetization and the law changes, which resulted in a lot of players still being unsatisfied and still feeling like their concerns were just not heard. On June 12th, they brought in patch 1.6, which introduced some bug fixes and optimization and a new event, which seems to have fallen short of player expectations due to ongoing technical issues with the game, perceived lack of content depth, and an underwhelming story content. So what began as a warm, fashionably cozy experience developed into an experience centred on monetization tricks and questionable developer tactics, and a lot of FOMO mixed in. The game's cozy branding just couldn't mask the aggressive gacha system that's hidden underneath, and the buggy releases which resulted in this cozy game just feeling hollow. There's a very fine line between restoration and exploitation, and we're definitely seeing this line being tested recently in cozy gaming. Games that feature daily quests, login bonuses and limited time seasonal events aren't built for your enjoyment. They are built to build habits. They create the fear of missing out or FOMO deliberately that can turn a fun escape into an obligation. The game you started playing to get away from the daily grind just becomes a new, prettier grind. It's not about having fun anymore, it's just making sure you come back for your next little dose of digital satisfaction. And that's the deliberate marketing tactic that's trying to manipulate your emotions. An example of this is Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which is widely celebrated as a successful cozy game, but it's clear that the game isn't built to be cozy, just packaged as one. On the surface, it's a large and colourful world with cutesy characters, but under the surface you can see a wave of mindless tasks and things that are locked behind daily progression gates to distract you from the fact that you are never really progressing. When a game forces progression through completing daily tasks, spamming friends with gifts until you hit obnoxious daily limits, you have to wonder if this game is actually offering meaningful progression, or is it forcing it on you to encourage you to keep playing? Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of games that I personally love that do have grind mechanics and daily logins or objectives to complete. I find a lot of coziness in these games as they can provide a sense of progression and familiarity through their repetitive nature, which can feel genuinely rewarding. I think the key to these games is that it should feel rewarding and player focused, making sure that things aren't unnecessarily locked behind artificial objectives and players feel a sense of control and agency in the game. I think as consumers we need to be aware of the hype trains around cozy gaming releases to make sure that the game you're actually buying, especially at release, is worth your time and isn't trying to manipulate your emotions for monetary gain. Another ugly truth is that most cozy games are all the same, and this relates not only to marketing tactics but our habits as cozy gamers. Take a stroll through any digital game store and you'll see it, a sea of sameness in the cozy section. It's an endless parade of games that are, let's be honest, just slight variations of Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. This isn't a fluke, it's a curated business strategy from developers. 2/3 of players say that they use video games specifically to relax. There is also evidence to suggest that gaming can reduce stress, anxiety and depression. So there's nothing really special about a cozy game as a relaxing retreat from reality. The cozy label has just become a powerful, almost lazy way to attract a huge, dedicated audience. Just slap cozy on a game with a cute art style and you're tapping into a market that's starving for relief. It's a shortcut that lets developers bypass the need for real innovation. The wild success of big cozy games have created a low-risk blueprint for making money. Why invest in risky new ideas when you can just copy what's already proven to work? This has led to a market so saturated with farming and life sims that they all start to blend together. The result? Well, the whole genre is getting creatively stagnant. We love to romanticize the indie developer, and I'm a huge fan of indie developers myself. I have a lot of respect for small and sometimes solo development teams that put a lot of effort into their games. But the reality is they're usually small businesses on a tight budget or passion projects. For them, sticking to a proven formula isn't lack of creativity, it's how they survive. The problem is, it creates a feedback loop. Players buy what they know, so developers make more of what they know. The big game studios start to take notice and produce more of the same as well. Think about Nintendo for instance, they are kings of this formula, as they constantly recycle their game worlds into long franchises that never seem to end. There are about 200 games featuring Mario and his friends. Starting before I was born, and I suspect Mario will outlive me, it doesn't really feel like it will ever end. Sure, these games have different mechanics like sport games and racing games, but you have to admit they aren't very innovative. There's very little incentives to push boundaries or innovate when more of the same just works. The cozy gaming genre is at risk of eating itself, just endlessly recycling the same few ideas until everyone gets bored and moves on. So what's the ultimate ugly truth? In this cozy game gold rush, the comfort you're buying is a manufactured product, and the raw materials is your own emotional vulnerability. The industry has found a basic human need for peace, control and purpose, and built a highly profitable machine to sell it back to you. The business of cozy gaming is strong, but it's built on a foundation that feels increasingly shaky, a market driven by social media hype, filled with clones and in danger of burning out its audience. So should you delete your 200-hour Stardew Valley save and toss your Switch out of the window? No, of course not. Especially if you bought the new Switch 2, damn that shit is expensive. The point here isn't to say that cozy games are evil or that your enjoyment of them isn't real. It absolutely is. The solution isn't to stop playing, it's to play with your eyes open and to be a more critical consumer. Recognise the difference between a game that respects your time and one designed to monopolise it. Look past the cozy tag and ask what the game is really offering. Is it genuinely a new experience or another clone chasing a trend? Support the developers who are actually trying to push boundaries, who are mixing genres and trying new things. We're already seeing some developers experiment by blending cozy mechanics with adventure, puzzles and more complex stories. These are the games that will help the genre evolve. And be wary of games that release in buggy, unplayable messes, a growing problem that preys on player trust. The ugly truth behind your favourite cozy game isn't that it's bad, but that it is a business. And I think underneath we all recognise that. But it can be super easy to forget that we are the product, especially in a world where our data is our most valuable asset to businesses. You can still find your sanctuary in these digital worlds, but you don't have to be a passive consumer of a manufactured feeling. You can be an informed player who chooses their comfort on their own terms. And by doing that, you can help shape a future for cozy gaming that's built on real creativity and innovation. So what's your take? Are you getting tired of the endless farming sims, or do you still feel there's plenty of room for new ideas in the cozy space? Let me know in the comments down below. So just as a reminder, if you like this video, please feel free to drop a like down below and consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.